I hate all the girls in all the videos.
Okay, that's I guess that still carries on to this day. We're learning.
I am.
We're still learning. Yeah, and after that song, there was Teddy Riley called with Grown Man. And that was just, we had worked with him on Face the Music. Teddy Riley was really one of the driving forces for us on Face the Music. Phenomenal producer, all-time iconic producer. And we jumped in and did Grown Man. And that was basically mostly him and I just knocking it out. And then we were master mixing the album. It's the final thing you do. When you do that, you send the tape or whatever it is to the plant, and they're printing CDs. It's over. And out of nowhere, they said, Timbaland called and has a song. And we actually got 2 songs from him, and one of them was called Back Together. And it was like, this is the perfect final song. This is what we all waited for, that one that the smart producer held to the end, and so he could make it be our single. And he was like, yeah, you can't have that one. And we were like, and he was like, but I got this other one, it's called Twisted. So we decided to go to Florida. It was Jordan and me and Joey, and Danny lived there obviously. And we all had a different agenda. So I went down there to say, okay, we're gonna sing Twisted, but I'm gonna get back together. Like I'm gonna try to get him to give us that record. And I was like, Jordan, you gotta help me talk to Timbaland. And the first night Jordan was there, Timbaland came in and wrote a whole new song, which he ended up doing for Chris Cornell, called Stop Me. So I was like, Jordan, what happened last night? He was like, we didn't do shit. He just came in and wrote a new song, and we should do that song. And I was like, oh shit, well now we gotta try to negotiate 2 songs. And Joey, very wisely, was like, you 2 go in the other room and negotiate. I'm gonna go sing Twisted and have a ball. And he did.
We couldn't really figure Twisted out though, you know what I mean? So it was like, what is this song?
It's different.
And so, you guys ended up doing the verse, but I did have to like do a whole nother I tried to, in my mind, like sing it like Green Day, which might not make any sense, but like sometimes you go, what the hell is this song, It just, so I just went at it, and Fauntleroy, that's his last name, right?
Yeah,
James Fauntleroy, who has done a bunch of records, was doing the vocal, and he was a character. So sometimes you just have to connect with who's behind the board, and you can get something going. But
All I remember was Timbaland was mad as shit. He was upset.
After we did it, right?
I think because we were telling him, well, Jimmy told us that we could do this song, and he was just fuming in the stage.
That was his baby. He, The Way You Are, the cars and the car keys, baby, I love you, that was his big hit. And this song, Back Together, had that feeling.
Yeah.
It sounded like the follow-up.
It sounded like the typical Timbaland.
It was a smasheroni, and we were like, come on, let it. He was, in his mind, he was like, no, that's my baby. That's Joey's single. That's Neo's single. You're not recording that. That's my record. And he probably wasn't happy that someone told us to get down there and we could record it.
He was like,
It wasn't mad at us, though.
right. He was mad at the situation that he was put in.
Yep. And if I can, he was right. Twisted was the song
Totally.
for us.
Absolutely.
It was the right song
Absolutely.
to finish the album. The other song didn't matter. We were already back together. We didn't need a song explaining that we were back together. And I think, just to close up the recording part of this conversation, it really was a matter of just trusting the process and the journey. It wasn't always easy. It was at times a life raft in the middle of a troublesome ocean. The reunion I'm speaking of, us getting back together. But it was a growing process, a learning process, and Joey shared what his process was. It was one for all of us in all different ways. I learned as an actor for the years that we were apart, how to communicate to my partners better. when I was 20, I'd be like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna jump off the roof, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna record a song. And they'd be like, tune me out, shut up, stop, Donnie. And I didn't understand why they would do that. But having been in movies, I know you can't run up to the writer and go, hey man, change these lines. You have to pick your spots and listen and learn and communicate in a way that's healthy. And so it was all a learning process for all of us, but it really came together the way it was truly meant to be. And I will say, there are a lot of things that were recorded for that album, moments and things, and we still have them.
Oh,
We have them. Really, really special things that I think, honestly, another thing we learned at the time in the music business is because things were going digital, you couldn't put certain things on a record. If there was an intro to a song of someone talking or something, you had to count that as a song, or it would be attached to the song. So if you went on iTunes and you press play and someone talks for 2 minutes, the song doesn't start for 2 minutes. So we cut a lot of things and saved them, and we had to learn that. We could only fit this many songs on the record, and all that material is in a vault. It is in a magical vault.
So what would one do with that?
Yes. What would one do with that?
Well, I could tell you what 5 will do with that material.
Yes, what would I
Since it's the 15th anniversary of the Block album this fall, 5 of us will be gathering all of that magical material and digging into those archives and reissuing the Block album in its full epic intended majesty.
New music, or old new music for all of us, and it's coming out in the fall. Is that
It'll
what
be in the fall, yeah. We're gathering it now. There's conversations happening. We worked out a situation with Universal Music, and it's just, we're super excited, and going back and diving into the archives of that album is incredible. It's much like, 1988 was this magical, emotional time in our lives that we all shared earlier. In 2008 was the rebirth or the reconnecting, right, of those times, and it does give the feels the way that maybe the Hanging Tough 30th anniversary did, except we had control of all the material, so we still have it all, and we can make this a reissue album unlike any other. I can't wait so we can share it with you guys.
I know we're all very excited to hear about this album and see what the music is, and I just wanted to thank you all for sharing this afternoon with us, and also, letting us be part of the process, because now I'm gonna get a little emotional. The first time it felt somewhat like a childhood crush. We loved you, you were part of our lives, but it feels like this very innocent part. And now I feel like we are so connected to all of you as adults, as friends, as fans, and the way that you have given so much to us this weekend.
You all hate her now.
Do we have someone who can take a picture? All you guys can.